of tight liquidity position on demand for risk-free assets. A yield expanded across all ends of the curve, with the short segment being the most hit, followed by the mid and long ends. And other currency markets, the week was relatively quiet. However, the Apex Bank lifted the ban on currency allocation for some items classified as not valid for Forex in the official market, allowing them to purchase some such items if transaction values do not exceed $20,000 per quarter. Also in the week, the CBN barred 14 commercial banks from participating in the SME Forex window following complaints that some of the banks were deliberately frustrating efforts by many SMEs to access FX from the window. Now, in comparison to the previous week, the value of Forex intervention decreased by 56% to $350 million, with the CBN attributing the reduced demand to FX glut. But on the contrary, dealers said demand was constrained by the constant liquidity mopping actions of the central bank. The banks only subscribed to $209.44 million of the $350 million. Amidst these developments, the Naira at the interbank market declined against the pounds and the euro to 409 naira 90 naira 79 kobo and 347 naira 51 kobo each, while the naira strengthened against the dollar to close at 305 naira 70 kobo. At the parallel markets, the naira weakened against the three major currencies, closing at 391 naira against the dollar, 500 naira against the pounds, and 422 naira against the euro. Meanwhile, the naira also weakened against the dollar to 382 naira 19 kobo at the investors and exporters markets. More information keep coming from the just concluded World Economic Forum on Africa that took place in Durban, South Africa. Now, some of the delegates at that summit have been speaking on their takeaway from the forum. One of such people is the CEO of Diamond Bank, Mr. Uzoma Dozie, who participated at a session titled Banking and Youths. Mr. Dozie, who spoke to Channels Television, emphasized the importance of financial inclusion amongst a wide range of issues from the summit and Nigeria.
I think WEFA and most countries are concerned about financial inclusion. There are more people outside the formal sector than in the formal sector. And I think it has been established that without being outside the financial system is very expensive, and it doesn't give people opportunity or countries to grow. And so it's how do we address that? How do we address that problem? And so that's what we're talking about. How do we? And from our perspective, was like a lot of collaboration is required amongst banks, telcos, and also the regulators, understanding and putting in place policies that will help facilitate financial inclusion. So how do you now, all these bodies you've talked about, have an interface with the people, beneficiaries or prospective beneficiaries? Well, you know, I think for us in Nigeria, we're actually now beginning to execute that. So it's not a theory, it's practicable. And I think we have the opportunity to even leapfrog, and we're beginning to see a lot of leapfrogging from a financial product perspective. And so you have a lot of people in Nigeria who actually have full banking accounts on their mobile phone, and they're doing their transaction mobile to mobile payments. They don't need to use cards or point of sale terminals if you're a business, because of the friction points associated with that. So it's something that we're actually doing in Nigeria. I think the question is, how do we scale it up? How do we work with regulators to put in policies in place that will enable us to scale up and take benefit of the investment that Nigeria has actually made in the financial system? Away from that now, do you share the World Bank IMF latest outlook on Africa? Oh, certainly. I think first, and what's driving it is we're now beginning to, at least everybody has almost everybody in Africa has a mobile phone, and we're beginning to see development of solutions around that, whether it's financial, whether it's commerce. And so, because we're not bogged down with legacy systems in Africa, we're more flexible, and we can now build solutions for the new African. And so that's why we're seeing this optimism about Africa.
Okay. And your outlook on Nigeria? We're out of recession, we're told. Do you agree? Are we going in the right direction?
Well, I mean, it feels like, it's relative. So if you look at where we were last year, and if you look at the indicators this year, completely different. So growth, we're seeing GDP growth, albeit negative. We're seeing growth where we want to see that growth, which is in non-oil areas. We're seeing an appreciation of the naira. We've seen at least stability in oil price, and also increase in production and less restiveness in the Niger Delta area. So that is a foundation for better things to come. So if we have better policies and a stable political environment, then we should see economic improvements.
Looking at the naira, the fiscal policies at the moment, is it sustainable? Is it just papering over the cracks?
Well, don't forget, it's all about supply and demand. And so what you've seen now is that I think Nigerians have curbed the excessiveness that we saw a few years ago. So if we are now using foreign currency, if we're now deploying foreign currency for utilization in productive areas, we should see some sustainability.
Uzoma Dozie, CEO, Diamond Bank. Back to you now, Bosun.
Yeah, Chibeze, thank you very much. We're bringing in oil and gas into the market conversation with the Nigerian energy market after the break. So everyone stick around. Chibeze will be driving that from Lagos with Omotola Abimbola, one of the senior investment analysts from Afrinvest, who does sitting in the Lagos studios, and we're listening to that conversation. We're back into. Stick around. This is Business Morning. We'll live to you from here.